The Collective Rise: How Community Empowers Black Excellence. Thank you all for being here today. I want to start by acknowledging the extraordinary wisdom that shapes our conversation. LaSonja Flowers, a visionary who has transformed how we understand success in Black professional spaces, has gifted us with insights that aren't just thought provoking, they're revolutionary. Her tireless work creating pathways for collective advancement has touched thousands of lives, building bridges where others saw only chasms. She embodies what it means to lead with both brilliance and heart, challenging systems while nurturing the human potential within them. We've all heard the narrative, the one whispered in boardrooms and business schools across America, the one that tells us success is a ladder we must climb alone, the one that insists competition is the only path to excellence, the one that suggests keeping our resources, our connections, our knowledge close to our chest is the surest way to get ahead. But what if everything we've been taught about success is fundamentally flawed? What if the true path to sustainable achievement, particularly for Black professionals and entrepreneurs, isn't through isolation, but through intentional community building? This is the counterintuitive truth LaSonja Flowers has illuminated. That empowerment within Black professional spaces flourishes most vibrantly not when we outpace others, but when we cultivate environments of community support and resource sharing. The dominant narrative in American professional culture celebrates the self made individual. We glorify the entrepreneur who built an empire from nothing, the executive who clawed their way to the top through sheer determination. These stories aren't just incomplete, they're misleading. They erase the networks, the mentors, the communities that make sustainable success possible. For Black professionals and entrepreneurs, this myth of solitary achievement is particularly damaging. It ignores the unique structural barriers that exist and suggests that individual effort alone can overcome systemic challenges. Real transformative growth emerges from networks of mutual uplift, spaces where knowledge, opportunities, and encouragement flow freely among peers. Let me share three key insights that challenge everything we think we know about achievement. First, community driven collaboration is a more powerful driver of long term success for Black professionals than solitary achievement could ever be. When we pool our wisdom, our resources, our connections, we create something far greater than any individual could build alone. Second, actively seeking and contributing to supportive ecosystems, whether through mentorship programs, business collectives, or local networks, amplifies individual brilliance while simultaneously uplifting the collective. Your success becomes my success. My opportunity becomes yours. Third, embracing vulnerability by openly sharing both challenges and wins creates a culture where innovation thrives and barriers can be dismantled together. When we remove the masks of perfection, we create space for authentic connection and growth. These insights aren't just theoretical. They are backed by powerful real world examples that demonstrate the transformative potential of collective empowerment. Consider the story of the Avalon Hotel in Rochester. During a time when segregation was commonplace, this establishment emerged as an inclusive gathering place for distinguished professionals, including BIPOC leaders from diverse backgrounds. Historically, marginalized groups faced a systematic exclusion from mainstream professional spaces. The Avalon intentionally welcomed guests regardless of background and fostered community events that encouraged networking across lines of religion and ethnicity. This wasn't just about providing accommodations, it was about creating an environment where underrepresented professionals could exchange ideas safely and build collaborative relationships. The Avalon became known locally as a refuge for intellectuals who might otherwise have been excluded from influential circles. The hotel hosted forums on business development and social justice initiatives that benefited not only its guests, but the wider Rochester community. Its legacy demonstrates how intentional inclusivity can break down barriers and how physical spaces designed around collaboration can empower entire communities. As Maya Angelou wisely noted, nobody, but nobody can make it out here alone. The Avalon Hotel embodied this truth by creating space for connection that catalyzed empowerment across an entire community. Or consider the powerful example from the Clark County School District, where a Black woman leader advanced through academic achievement into senior administration roles. Her journey wasn't just about personal accomplishment. It was about creating pathways for others. She navigated systemic obstacles, including severe underrepresentation in leadership positions within education. Rather than simply focusing on her own advancement, she pursued advanced degrees while simultaneously building alliances with mentors inside her district. Her journey inspired other educators of color to pursue leadership tracks. She implemented mentorship programs specifically targeting underrepresented teachers seeking advancement. Her rise was marked by persistent advocacy for equitable hiring practices, even when she was one of few women of color at decision making tables. Under her guidance, new policies increased diversity among school administrators, a milestone celebrated district wide. Her work broadened access to leadership pipelines across Georgia schools while proving representation matters deeply at every level. As Shirley Chisholm once said, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. This leader did more than claim her own seat. She built additional chairs and expanded the entire table. The third example demonstrates the power of intentional community building among entrepreneurs. The Roch and BIPOC Business Network formed to spotlight minority owned enterprises throughout Rochester, Minnesota's entrepreneurial landscape. Black entrepreneurs often struggled with the limited visibility and access to mainstream business resources compared with their peers. Instead of competing against each other for scarce opportunities, they built an online directory promoting BIPOC businesses alongside guides on funding sources, marketing strategies, and peer mentoring meetups. They highlighted donation drives supporting these ventures during economic downturns. Network members reported increased customer traffic after being featured, several secure grants they wouldn't have known about without group referrals. Many founders started their businesses solo, but quickly realized connecting with others facing similar challenges accelerated everyone's progress. Collectively, they advocated for citywide initiatives benefiting minority entrepreneurs, including inclusion on municipal vendor lists. Their efforts shifted public perception about what business as usual looks like, proving diverse enterprises enrich local economies when given equal footing. As Oprah Winfrey reminds us, you can have it all. You just can't have it all at once. But perhaps through collective action, we can have more sooner together. These stories illuminate a profound truth. The myth of the solitary achiever isn't just inaccurate, it's actively harmful. It blinds us to the reality that sustainable success emerges from ecosystems of support, not isolated individual effort. For Black women professionals and entrepreneurs, especially, this insight is revolutionary. In a world where we're often handed pink slips while underperforming counterparts receive golden parachutes, building networks of mutual support isn't just beneficial, it's essential. The data supports this. Research consistently shows that diverse teams outperform homogeneous ones. Companies with diverse leadership deliver better financial results. Communities with strong social capital create more opportunities for all their members. Yet our professional cultures continue to celebrate and reward individual achievement over collective success. We promote the star performer rather than the team builder. We fund the solo entrepreneur rather than the community creator. What would our workplaces, our businesses, our communities look like if we centered collective empowerment rather than individual achievement? Imagine professional spaces where knowledge is freely shared rather than hoarded as competitive advantage. Envision business networks where entrepreneurs actively connect each other to opportunities rather than guarding their contacts. Picture leadership pipelines intentionally designed to elevate diverse voices rather than replicating existing power structures. This vision isn't utopian, it's practical, it's strategic. And as LaSonja Flowers emphasized, it's already happening in communities across the country. The question isn't whether collective empowerment works. The evidence clearly shows it does. The question is whether we have the courage to embrace it, to challenge the dominant narratives about success, and build new models centered on community and collaboration. So today, I challenge you to disrupt everything you think you know about success. I challenge you to examine where you might be holding back knowledge, connections, or opportunities that could elevate someone else. I challenge you to see your achievements not as personal trophies, but as platforms from which you can extend a hand to others. Because here's the truth that changes everything. Your brilliance isn't diminished when others shine alongside you, it's magnified. Your success isn't threatened when you create pathways for others, it's secured. Your legacy isn't measured by how high you climb alone, but by how many you bring with you on the journey. Tomorrow, I want you to do something radical. Share a resource you've been guarding. Make an introduction you've been postponing. Mentor someone you've been overlooking and watch what happens, not just to them, but to you. In the powerful words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. The future of Black excellence, indeed, the future of all excellence, lies not in producing more exceptional individuals who succeed despite the odds. It lies in building communities where success becomes the expected outcome rather than the exception. So, who will you lift as you climb? What will you share that might ignite another's potential? How will you help build the ecosystem where brilliance isn't the exception, but the rule? Because when we rise together, we don't just reach higher, we transform the very landscape of what's possible. Thank you.